it's the proudest day, the proudest time, and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donnelly says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all we said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast. Season 2, Episode 6. Connor, it's that time of the week again.
Is indeed, Kevin. It's great chance to chat to people about rallying and stuff, and get some good guests on as usual.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And again, we keep going on the positive vibes coming out of Irish rallying. This week we have it in abundance. We speak to Patrick O'Brien and Josh McErlean on the exciting news that they're going over to round 1 of the ERC Rally Faf. We also catch up with Lorcan Moore, who's been on his travels. That's a fascinating tale. Then we look back at last weekend, Fivemiletown, great day in the forests. And then finally we catch up with last year's junior tarmac champion, Ryan MacHugh, and he has an exciting plan for this year ahead. But I think without further ado, this whole the Irish contingent going to Rally Faf, that's unbelievable, isn't it, Connor?
Look, it's fantastic. It's another great news story. We're seeing quite a large Irish contingent going over to Portugal, or competing on Portugal and Rally Faf. So it really is fantastic news and great to see it. And again, hats off to Motorsport Ireland and the MI Academy and well as John Coyne. It's just fantastic news.
It really is. We have Paddy and Stephen going over, Josh is a stand-in co-driver, Brian Hoy. We should say congratulations to John, Rowan and Megan McCusker to get married at this weekend, so that's why John's not there. So congratulations to the pair of them. Also then Philip Allen be there, Craig Breen be there with James Fulton.
John Armstrong as
as well too. Yeah, we can't forget John as well too.
Yeah, with Andrew Bryan on board.
Yeah, so for a round of the ERC, the championship, many a year we kind of didn't even really tune into. It's going to be, all eyes are going to be tuned into it next, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Absolutely, and not just because of the Irish contingent. No. There's 37 R5s taking part in this event. We're seeing the likes of Mads Osberg. It's an incredible entry. It really is. It's fabulous.
Yeah, because that is mega. You can imagine, and the stages in that area too. I think they are classic Rally Portugal stages, a lot of them as well too. So it's going to be a real test of man and machine there.
Yeah, it will be. And again, this time as Josh tells us in the interview, this time last year, real mixed conditions as well, so we don't know what we're going to get thrown at us in Portugal. And only last weekend on a Portuguese rally there was snow, so it's all up in the air.
That's for sure. That is for sure. I think without further ado, I think we'll catch up with Paddy and Josh.
Yeah, exactly. Can't wait to get going now. I've known for some time, so sitting on it wasn't easy, but yeah, really looking forward to it and can't wait to get going now.
Yeah, and Faf is one of those names that, kind of anybody that knows anything about rallying, there's just something special about that name. Of all the rallies you would like to go to, it's probably high up on the list.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, it's probably more, the gravel is something I enjoy quite a lot. Watching even the WRC around the Faf area as well is crazy. So we're getting a chance to go and compete on legendary stages like that. You have to take it.
That's for sure. And Josh, from your point of view too, getting the chance to go to round 1 and the ERC, it was a no-brainer, I would say, if never the opportunity come up.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Most of these opportunities, to be starting the first round of both the World Championship and the ERC is quite a strange thing to say, but obviously very grateful for it. And yeah, to go into Faf, it's a place we've got good experience of before, so it's definitely a nice place to start where you know the region and know the area as such. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead, Connor.
No, apologies. I was just going to jump in. Like, fantastic that you're both getting the opportunity. But boy, what an entry list! Like, it really is going to be a competitive event. I think there's something like 37 R2s, Rally 2s taking part. What's your views, Josh? Do you have a benchmark or who you pitting yourself against?
Obviously, there's a lot of WRC2 competitors in it. I think if you look at the around the 30 mark, there's still 4 or 5 boys that could actually win the rally. So it's definitely a big entry and a lot of competition. But that's why we're going. That's why we're here. So yeah, it's good to put yourself up against this here and improve the pace all the time. Ultimately, we're going for seat time, so we have to bear that in mind. But yeah, we want to race as well. So yeah, I think looking at stage times in Portugal in the previous years, we've been thereabouts and some of these guys. So it's about building on that there and having a strong qualifying, because I think that's where road position is going to be crucial.
And Paddy, what about yourself? What's preparation looking like to get yourself up to speed for FAF?
Yeah, I think we've been doing as much preparation as sort of we can. Watching obviously the onboards from the WRC Plus and then the ERC Plus. Where I'm going to be, I don't know. I'll know after the first stage. I don't have any experience there, so I think it's going to be quite a lot of learning, but hopefully we can learn fast.
Yeah, but Paddy, you seem to be able to adapt. Like Galway, you were thrown in at the deep end, like your R5 on tarmac, and you took your time, you settled yourself. You were setting top 10 times, fairly quickly. But come Sunday, like the guys at the front are scrapping for the one, they're going for like every second, and you Black Road knock a time in, was it 4.5 seconds quicker than everybody else? Like that's phenomenal. Like that must give you great comfort, a great boost to see that.
Yeah, exactly. It's good when you can do that. Like, it was just getting a day to bed it in and then have a push then. And I think the last stage we were up as well, but unfortunately we touched the wheel. But I think that maybe we'll be better for this event because it's gravel as well, and I have quite a lot of experience on the loose too. So that should be a big help.
And like, have you a preference? Like, I suppose like you have more experience on the gravel at this stage than on the tar. Is the gravel still your preferred choice of a surface?
No, I wouldn't think so. No, it doesn't really matter gravel or tarmac. I just seem to fall into maybe a gravel rut for quite a long time there. But I really enjoy the gravel, but I like the tar as well. It doesn't really make much difference, to be fair.
Yeah, as long as you're in the rally car, you don't really care.
Exactly, it's all the same.
Yeah, and Joyce, from your point of view, like, have you a preference? Like, you've been lucky enough and competed regularly now in both surfaces.
Yeah, I think you could say our tarmac is the preferred surface coming from Ireland, but whenever you look at it, we haven't rallied in Ireland in 4 years, which is quite a long time. And okay, there's a lot of different characters of tarmac roads in Europe, so no, I think whenever you get the gist of Finland, it's hard to compare to any other surface, I would say.
For sure. And like, getting this opportunity for FAF, and like we see how many drivers from here are going to be there. You've Craig Breen, Philip Allen, John Armstrong, yourselves. We're in this island at the moment is producing some great talent. Isn't it fantastic to see such a strong contingent making the trip over? Maybe Josh, you want to take that one first?
Definitely. I think it shows you how strong the sport is from Ireland, and the competition as well from the entry list going out, even in WRC rallies alone. If you look at William and Eamon in the last round of the JWRC, it shows you how strong they were. And yeah, I think it's predominantly down to the support of one man, and that's John Coyne. And it's good to see him back out in Mexico again, making the trip over there. So it's very promising at the moment.
Yeah, and like Patrick, when you're going your side there too, like this, the academy, and like John Coyne's the backer of this, to give you this opportunity, like this 2 years ago would have been like a pipe dream. It's going to be reality now in a couple of weeks. The academy has done an awful lot for you in the last few months as well, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it was 2 years ago was the first time we ever met John Coyne, I was working with Don Buckley on his car, and he didn't even know who I was then. So 2 years later, there was a bit of a laugh that we're going to FAF, and he's been involved in it as well. So yeah, it would never ever happen without the support of the academy and Sean and John as well. What they do, and even the people behind the scenes in the academy, it's unbelievable. Like we're very, very lucky to be getting these chances.
Paddy, what have you lined up in the way of pre-event testing?
We're doing a test on the Wednesday before the event. I think Josh, you're doing it as well with PCRS.
So pretty much you're really being dropped in the deep end. You know, you won't get a chance to compete in Portugal then beforehand.
Not so much time to compete in Portugal now, but we'll see how we get on.
And does that, do you think about that, or because you don't compete as regularly as a lot of other competitors, you're happy enough to just be able to jump into the car and go?
It doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like every day I'm close to the rally car. There's not that many days I'm not in the seat driving it about somewhere, because that's my job. So it doesn't really bother me in the slightest.
And Josh, your point of view now, like getting into the Rally 2 high on the, like you've had it now for 6-7 months now. Is it a car you're comfortable with now, because you were so used to the previous, the Rally, the R5 version?
Yeah, I think it's always been developed. Even looking at towards FAF now, we're looking at debriefs from Portugal last year, and what there is where we could improve the car and obviously the driving as well. So it's good to look back in these things now and try to develop them going forward. But yeah, the car is proven. I think if you look at Sunan last year in Portugal, he was leading until the last stage. So it's good to have that there. Obviously the Skodas are coming on strong now with the new car being released, but yeah, we still have to keep the mindset positive and keep fighting.
Yeah, I think like as you say, Sun was setting great times, and even the rallies it's been this year so far, like Galway, like Sam Moffat jumped into it the very first time and led the rally for a while too. Like so, the car does seem very capable.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and yeah, it was great to see obviously Sam get the new car for Galway and be on the pace right away. So all these things gives you good confidence going forward. Obviously, we had some small issues in Monte Carlo that, it was out of, let's say, everyone's control. So it's good to get to the bottom of these here and push on from here on in.
For sure. And Paddy, from your point of view, like these cars are so evenly matched. You haven't the very latest developments, from Skoda, they have the new Rally 2 and all. But there's not huge, advantages. It's not 3 or 4 seconds a kilometre. It's just the smallest wee fraction. Like this is, we keep saying about how close and how good a racing is with these our Rally 2 R5 cars. It must be great to know that the car you have gives you a really good opportunity to make an impression heading over there.
Yeah, exactly. Our car is maybe a little bit older, but as you say, it still can put the times up. If you see the Black Road, like it was, everybody wanted a Volkswagen Polo, and then everybody wanted a Citroen, and once I got to the end of that, everybody wanted a Skoda. So it seems to be fit to do the business. So no, I don't really think too much about that. It's the package I have, and I have to make it work.
And having your brother there beside you too, it's nice to have that, to have a shared experience with your brother as well.
Yeah, exactly. And also my dad will be coming to the event too, and he'll be working on the car too. So still you have the family thing coming along with you too is always nice.
Yeah, I think your dad and your brother and your whole family are your biggest supporters. They have been with you. Well, they have been with you from day one, but they're full square behind you. They want you to succeed. That's a fantastic feeling for you as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like my brother Frank used to work along with us, but he's off to Australia now and moved there. So before the Black Road, he actually texted me and says, "What's the plan now?" And I says, "Right, I'm going for it." So once I got to the end of it, I got a text message straight away. Holy shit! So yeah, it was Frank's a big supporter of me too, but he can't be here. So
no, he'll not sleep much the weekend to Portugal. He'll be keeping an eye on the times.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. And like, Josh, you coming as well too. Like your family has such a strong rallying history as well. like they're full square behind you, and your mum and your dad and your sisters and all, like they enjoy the going out and spectating and taking in the whole atmosphere of these events as well.
Yeah, I think it shows you them. They go to most of them. Obviously, it's very hard to get to every one of them with the cost of the whole thing. But yeah, they've been here from the start, the whole family, cousins and uncles and stuff. So yeah, it's good to have this support. And definitely, it's one thing I'm grateful for from the early part of the career too. So it's definitely good to have the local support, even from sponsors as well. Many of them have stuck by me since the start, so it's yeah, the whole package is what makes it work.
I could think the very early car, your 1007. There's some of the names on that car are still on your car today. Like, so that just shows that the package that you're giving to the sponsors obviously is working because they stuck by you. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to look at, having these loyal people with you along the way. Obviously the ERC and WRC is quite on a bigger scale, so it's something that you're always looking at and always searching for as well for the likes of a European-based sponsor. But these things take time, so yeah, it's always a work in progress.
And Josh, change of scene in the cockpit for you for Portugal as well.
Yeah, so Brian Hoyle will be stepping in for this one. John Rowan will be walking down the aisle that day. So yeah, I don't think that would be quite possible. So yeah, Brian stepping in. He has obviously got a lot of experience at that level with John Armstrong, etc. So I've got full confidence in him. He's been there and done these rallies before. So yeah, I don't think that'll be such an issue. But yeah, the Wednesday test before, as Paddy says, will be crucial for getting this relationship off to a good start, and yeah, hopefully all works out well.
Yeah, you'll have a world champion in the car beside you, so it's not a bad sub, is it?
No, not a bad start, anyway.
and Paddy, for you, we know the struggles you've had to compete over the last number of years with sponsors, not being able to get the package together and all. To be able to go to like a potential sponsor and say, I'm a member of the MI Academy. I am one of their elite drivers. That must help open doors for you whenever you're going around with looking for sponsorship.
Yeah, exactly. Even people approaching you as well for some sponsorship. You don't have to go begging maybe all the time. Also, winning rallies outright too has been a massive help as well. Pretty convincingly in Ireland, we can do it on the gravel now. But that was a big help. But for definite, having been a member of an elite squad like that, and it's the best in Ireland. So yeah, it's a fantastic help.
And Paddy, I know Kevin mentioned there that your Skoda wouldn't be the latest spec, etc., but there must be an element of confidence going with a car you're familiar with and is set up to your liking, rather than stepping into a hard car over there that you're not as familiar with.
Yeah, exactly. I know the car ins and outs. Like I build and diff and rebuild gearboxes, so I know every piece of the car. And also with the driving as well, the setup. I think we have a setup for gravel which is very, very good. Okay, we'll have to adjust it till I think it's going to be quite a lot sandier and a softer base in Portugal, but I think we'll have no problem with that.
And have you been studying the onboards, to the nth detail, or has that been going on for a couple of weeks now?
Yeah, it's been going on for quite some time now. I seem to know the road very well. Also, with Skoda, they give you some good setup sheets for Portugal too. So I've been in contact with them too. So that's a massive help going when you're going sort of the unknown.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic to hear. You're getting the support from Skoda Motorsport as well, that they're helping out as well too. So they're aware of you, as we should say then.
Now, where the bills come from them, they should be aware from me. No, they're a fantastic company to work with. They're just want to help so much, and anything they can do, they'll go out of their way to do it.
And Josh, you started off Monte Carlo with a teammate with Wall Crichton, and another new teammate. Even I know you're in different cars and all this time, but even to have somebody there in the service area Does that help as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a great thing to see that there's 2 cars from the O'Brien Rally Academy at the top level of the ERC. And having William in Monte Carlo especially, it was good to bounce information back off them and see what the thoughts were. It's a big team effort from the academy to get 2 cars out there. So yeah, we have to work together and make the most of it for each other. So no, it'll be good, especially in the Wednesday test, to talk it through and see what's what and compare. Okay, we can't compare setups so much with a Skoda and a Hyundai, but even like information from the road and the character throughout Reggae and stuff like this here is very important, because yeah, whenever you're running a 1 car team outside the rest of the cars, which is probably 3 cars in some of the teams, and if you look at Top Sport, they've 7, so they've a lot of data and information gathered up from that. So it's yeah, to try to race these guys, you need everything you can to make it work.
And Conor, have you anything else to add to that?
No, it's just I was just curious actually. Do you have road crews for the likes of Faf Rally, or is that not needed?
You're not actually allowed them within the ERC, and Monte Carlo was the only rally you're allowed them with a Rally 2 car. If you looked at Faf last year, you could have done with it with the amount of water on the road in the lots. So yeah, the weather will play a big part, and as I say, the qualifying will be the crucial part to the road position with 37 Rally 2 cars. So it's I know how rough Portugal can get, and starting further up, okay, not cleaning the road, but within the top 10 is a big thing. So yeah, it's how we can make the most out of the qualifying stage, I would say, is the good starting point.
Yeah, huge thanks to Paddy and Josh for taking the time to chat to us. And as Josh says, shakedown isn't just shakedown when it comes to the ERC. It's vitally important for you're qualifying for a road position as well for the start. And another entry that we forgot to mention is also friend of the podcast, Hayden Padden, is taking part. He announced this week that he would be doing the full ERC season. So Rally Faf is the kickoff of that.
Brilliant. Also, I caught up with is Lorcan Moore, Lorcan co-driver. He has had an exceptionally busy year already this year. He's done Galway, straight from Galway, he was straight away then to Portugal for a test, then to Qatar for the rally over there. Straight from it, then change of bags, then away to France, then with Daniel Barry, and a great run there. But no point in me telling you all about it. We'll let Lorcan tell you the story.
I suppose it's always been a family thing for us. Back in the day, my dad used to do a bit of rallying in a Class 14B twin cam, which was a standard enough car, and my uncle used to co-drive for him, and they used to switch seats. And my brother Brian, then myself, just grew up always around rallying, and yeah, started autocross when I was 16 and never looked back, and packed in the football and everything else. So.
And then whenever you turned the age, then you weren't long of getting the license, and then the first step was navigating, was it then?
Yeah, so did a good bit of autocross in our local club in Mayo, and we have a great club there, and just took off from there. And I always wanted to drive, but I suppose there's 2 types of co-drivers, and one is the one that was a born co-driver, and one is the poor driver. So I went into the second category fairly quick, but got into co-driving. I did my first rally with my dad in Mayo 2015. So I think we're second last overall, and we had no breaks, but we enjoyed it every bit, and never looked back.
Yeah, and like what a fantastic experience getting that, your very first ever rally share it with your dad. Like that's something you'll look back in years to come with great memories.
Yeah, definitely. It's always been a family thing in our house, and we always relate rallying with your family. So between myself and my brother Brian and my dad, it's just been in the blood, and all stone mad. Yeah.
And then your brother and yourself, but you have got that, the same as your dad and his brother. You just jump in together and you swap seats back and forth as well.
Yeah, exactly. I sit with Brian sometimes in the Civic, and he charges fairly hard, in fairness, and enjoy that all the same, and then try and do a bit of driving myself. And then when I'm driving, he helps me prep my car, and my dad and my uncle come and run the car, and all my cousins. So it's a team effort for sure. But that's how I got into it. And then I did the Border Championship then in 2016 with a local driver, Derek Bolton, a good friend of mine. And it just snowballed from there then, and I was just addicted. I had the bug and finished school, went to college, and I was in uni in Galway and flat out rallying. Every chance I got, I was gone. 2017, I did something like 31 or 32 rallies that year, so not a whole lot of college, but yeah, that's when I started going abroad and stuff like that. So yeah, I just tried to build it up as much as I could when I was younger, and yeah, it's standing to us now. We're getting the experience. So
yeah, like rallying is like, that's what I always think about rallying. It's a great opportunity for young people as well as the whole community of rallying. It allows you to travel the world. Like, you've had the opportunity to go to Belgium, America, across the UK, and go and do something you enjoy doing. It's even better again, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. And you meet great people along the way, and make great friends. Even if you are just an innocent 19-year-old and you don't know what you're doing, all you love is rallying, and you're on a plane. Yeah, you just get on with it, and we're all there for the same reason. We all love going fast. So yeah, I was lucky enough. I got in with a great team from the London Irish Motor Club with John Reddington when I was 19, and we did a power rallying out in Belgium that year, and we won the Flanders Championship in the Mark II with Den Motorsport, and that was great. And in 2019, I was actually studying abroad in Canada, in Montreal, and they speak French over there, and I was kind of studying French over there in college. So when that finished up, we actually went to Ohio for a rally with Liam McNeilis and with the Ohio Rally, and ended up back and forth then for a couple of years as well. So yeah, there's a great Irish rally crew over there, and yeah, it's an enjoyable way of traveling, but always meeting great people and doing what you love as well.
Yeah, and like that whole American Championship, there's a strong backbone of Irish through it all. Like we think, like, the Donnelly, McKenna, all those names. Like they have been there like forever now at this stage, really.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it was New England 2021. There was like 9 or 10 Irish co-drivers out for the weekend. Like, there's probably 70 in the rally, and 10 of them were Irish, and 10 Irish drivers as well. So yeah, it's great to see. And there's even Chris Megan even has a page Irish Rally in America, for following it. Yeah. So no, I suppose it's always in the blood too there, and it's great to see it growing.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then last year, here back at home in Ireland, you get the opportunity to sit with some great drivers, and that really brought you to the attention of maybe the wider public in the rallying field.
Yeah, I suppose I'd always been trying to climb the ladder and as much as we can and get as much experience as we could all throughout the years. But last year got the first podiums, so that was a good achievement from that side. Thanks to Vivian Hamill in the Mini, and with Daniel Barry, we good runs in 5Miletown and Wexford, and it just brought my game up to another level as well within the car. So I had a lot of other runs on the side as well, and thanks to everyone that I was sitting with. But yeah, that was probably the highlights of last year for sure, was 2 podiums. But yeah,
and like that has prepared you. Like, all this has been leading up to this year, and like, what a start to the year you've had so far. Like,
yeah, no, it was a good start. We I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. I had nothing planned. Kind of don't know what the plans is yet for the year or anything like that, but I got a shout from Killian Duffy about the seating and guitar, and put myself in for it, and the academy helped me with that, and that was it. Then got going with Aziz, and we went to Portugal. We did 2 days of testing there back to back with Aziz and Khalid Al Suwaidi, and then we went to Qatar, and we got on well there. It was tricky, really tricky, but it was really, really enjoyable, and it's something I've never done before. I remember after the first test in the desert, I was just like mind boggled, because when I knocked off the stage mode in the Fabia, it was like average speed 130 kilometers an hour. I was like, oh my god, this is mental stuff, but it's really, really enjoyable, and just the speed is infectious. So yeah, it was class, and then we prepared well for the rally, and we did the best we could, and we ended up getting 5th. So
like, even the opportunity to go and test for 2 days, like here, back home, and like, we're not putting anybody down, but a test here is maybe like half a day or something like that there. But to have 2 full days of testing, and like, was your were you able to bring stuff to the to the table to help them to adjust the car and bring the car along, and bringing something new to the table as well.
I suppose, yeah. You try and do the best notes that you can, and every driver is different, and it's a subjective thing because might mean one thing to another driver might mean something to someone else. So once it's a banana right and they know it's a banana right, it doesn't really matter once you call it a banana right, so yeah, but you learn different things off different drivers, and you always pick up something off a driver, and there's never a day you don't learn something. And yeah, no, it's been cool now, and it was a good start to the year, but let's hopefully keep the momentum going. I was lucky to have Niall out there in Qatar as well, Niall Burns, and it was great help because we're always flat out bouncing questions off each other, and that's how you learn, I suppose. And he learned things off me, but I learned a lot off him. So yeah, it's just peace of mind, and yeah, we're in the same team, so yeah. Never too.
And like that, this is like, I remember we spoke last week about this, and like everybody is the great thing about the rallying community again is everybody's so helpful to each other. Like there'll be other sports that you couldn't go up and ask a competitor, how do you do that, or rallying, it's like, oh, come on to a show, you come on, and there's no back doors, there's no airs or graces, everybody's there for the common good, I suppose. It's maybe a way of
yeah, definitely. It's like with the academy as well, you have all the guys that were idols years ago, and now you have them at the end of the phone if you have any questions, and it'd be like a five-a-side player ringing Cristiano Ronaldo for a few tips, relatively speaking. Yeah, so it's great, and they're great help to us, and yeah, people all like Irish co-drivers always help each other, and even there before Qatar, I was on the phone to Killian, and James Fulton was in Sweden, and he was ringing me as well because he'd sat with his last year, so he was great and giving me the heads up of what I can do to look better when I get out there, and what I can do to anticipate on the tricky junctions and things like that. Stuff I would have never known unless I picked up the phone and chatted to him. So yeah, they've always been great help, and yeah, I'd like to think someday if someone rang me for help, I'd pass it on too.
Excellent. And to get that opportunity, like you keep thinking of these rallies in the Middle East, they're out in the desert, there's no landmarks. Does that make the making the notes and even getting your own bearings about you, does that make it a lot more difficult?
Yeah, you put a lot of work into the recce. Try and watch as many videos as you can before the rally, and the maps and the live maps online, things like that. But you have a live map on your phone that the organisers provide you, and your phone will be say beside you in the rally car. But that's on the GPS. That's only if you go off the road, you can find that you're going to go straight back on it. That's if you lose a note of that. But luckily, we're all right in that fun for this year because there was some fences and stuff lit up on some tricky junctions. But don't get me wrong, it was still very hard. And how would I say? There's some places where you're coming into 3 or 4 junctions that merge at once, and it's like at home a square right has a sign on it, and it's very obvious. It's totally different here when you're switching. And it could be keep left one, keep right one, keep left one, and there's roads going left and right, and it's just a maze. But on the recce, when you make the notes and you take your time on the first pass and get a good video of it, and after the recce, spend hours going back and trying to tidy it up. And what I did was, so if the average speed of say the recce was 70 or 75 kilometers an hour, what I would do is play it back at double speed on the computer, try and read it at double speed. You're not always going to get it right, but that was the way I prepared for the tricky mergers of the junctions, that when they came and in the rally car, you're nearly half fresh in your mind of you nearly knew the sequence of corners from reading it at double speed, so yeah,
it's wee things like that just will make the difference on the day.
Exactly, yeah. Or where there's really long corners that tighten and you're into another junction straight after it, you'd identify the places that it would be tricky and try and kind of get familiar with them. You're not going to get familiar with everything, but you can do the best. And you're looking for different landmarks that you never would have seen before, like little bushes or a graded road, or even like a bump on the side of the road, anything at all. Even if you head in the direction of, you could see a church straight across the desert, maybe a kilometer away. But in my notes, I wouldn't call it, but just for myself in brackets, I'd have, you can see the church or something small like that, little things you never would have had to heighten your senses to before, but you do what you can to try and make it work. So
Yeah, it's all wee triggers for you that you know exactly where you're at, and that's to keep yourself
Yeah.
right. Yep.
exactly, and you could never have too much landmarks for yourself out there because it's a maze. But it's really, really enjoyable, and the stages are absolutely class.
And
Absolutely.
the level of competition there this year too, Mads Osberg, Andreas Mikkelsen, it's great to see, as well as great drivers going over and getting the chance to sample the stages over there as well.
Yeah, the QMMF is a really good organization. They have a really good program for bringing people over and bringing professional drivers over, Mads and Andres, and the great competition there. So Emily Lindholm was there as well, and they really just raised the bar. But for me, I mean, it's not that long ago I was watching Mikkelsen on the telly, and next thing you're pulling up beside him and doing arrival control. It's like, but at the time you don't think about it, it's just like, right, just get on with it. But afterwards you're like, oh.
Is there like a pinch me moment? Is this happening? Am I standing beside Andreas Mikkelsen, or there's Mads Osberg standing over there, kind of thing, or is it just I'm here to do a job and need to get it done?
Yeah, it's I suppose, like when you're there, you try and you be as professional as you can, but deep down you're like, geez, this is a bit mad, isn't it? Yeah, I was asking Mads Osberg, was he going to be coming back to Mayo? Because remember he had a Mark II that time. Yeah. But no, you're there to do a job, and I suppose you're there because you can do the job. So you just get on with it when you're there, and yeah.
And you just come away, you get a decent finish and all that. So happy driver, maybe a possibility, maybe come back maybe later in the season.
Yeah, we got on really well. So hopefully, we might get a budget together for a couple more rounds later in the year. I know that the next round is postponed, and it gets very hot during the summer out there, so I don't think there's much rallying out there. But maybe towards the end of the year we might get a run out again. But there's a lot of rallying to be done between now and November. Yeah.
And that's you mentioned the academy earlier. You're part of the Motorsport Ireland Academy. Before you go out there, do they help you? Because you're coming from Ireland at that time, and Galway the weekend before it was probably 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees to go out there, and it's probably 3, 4 times that.
Yeah, no, there's great supports available, and the academy gets you ready. There's 2 sides to it really for us. You have the co-driver side of it, which is kind of the more technical side of the job, and then you have the academy itself, and that's more kind of the performance, the physical and the nutrition side of it. So it just helps you to be the best you can be in different circumstances other than just the rallying, if you get me. So we've been working hard on the fitness and the nutrition, and it gets measured every month, so we try and make progress all the way along. But it's just another thing that you can get right that'll help you when you're there and you're under pressure.
And do you feel the benefits of it? When you're sitting in that car and those temperatures, is all this work paying off? Is it all come good on the night?
Yeah, definitely. If you've your work done, and especially over the winter before it, especially a bit of fitness definitely goes a long way in the heat. So it definitely helps you, and you wouldn't be tired, and that, and you need to be switched on because it's very easy to make a mistake if you're not. And that's the kind of thing that they have us primed for. And they're very good at getting us to be the best we can be.
Excellent. And then you're home from the Middle East. You're not home. Did you even get a chance to change over the bag away to France then with Daniel Barry? Another great experience.
We were packing for a month there before Galway, so I took a month off work and just went mad rallying for the month. So no, packed up, and you have to plan ahead and all that kind of stuff. But we landed, and then the following day went to France. So we got a good run there. We finished 6th overall. We were happy with it, but at the same time we were kind of kicking ourselves. We got a puncture on the last stage, We had taken time out of the guy in 5th, but that was a really good rally, and it was a really good mix of everything. And Daniel drove a great rally, and he's a great team together,
Daniel Barry, we don't really appreciate what he's doing because he does so little rallying in Ireland. But he goes to France and these other rallies across Europe, and it's a small family-run team, but he does it in such a professional manner. I don't think the guy gets enough credit for what he does.
Yeah, he's a great driver and he's got great car control, and you can learn a lot from the team that they put together. And it's a real family effort as well. So and then you've Paddy McDonald who runs the car, and then sometimes we got LAD Sport in France as well to help. So, but between everyone, and there's a lot of people in the team that has to come together to make the whole weekend work. But we're all as stone mad about rallying as each other. So. It's great to see, and it nearly remind me about when I'm rallying myself and my family are helping me, or vice versa, So it's nice to see, and he's a great pilot.
Yeah, and then like you say there you were over in Canada a few years ago, like that you were studying French. It's nice to be able to put your studies into practical use then at a rally as well.
Yeah, I don't think now when I was going over to Canada to study, I was going to get the parents to help me out so it'd help me when rallying, but yeah. No, parents have always been very supportive, and it definitely came in handy because that rally was a national rally. So it's like the FIA rallies are all in English, but the national rallies are all in French. And, you could be going over the ramp, going out to the middle loop of stages and get handed a bulletin or an amendment or something. And it just saves, well, you still panic, but just a bit less. You make a bit of sense of it. But it's definitely a help, definitely a good help. And I found that the co-drivers in France are very helpful too. Beyond about the Irish co-drivers helping each other, but out there too, if you make an effort and there's something you want to know, and people help you out if you make an effort. And those co-drivers are very helpful to me. Even things like checking in early to the last control. Like I would have been very tentative about that because obviously you don't know where you lie, but some of the other ones would say, no, it's fine. And then you could check, and, it just takes a bit of a worry off your mind that what you're doing is right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like the variety of cars over there, we're blessed here in Ireland, there's so many different types of R5, but over there then you have like a DS3 World Rally car, you have the Alpines and Porsches, the GT3s, the variety of machinery and that championship, that seems to be mind-boggling.
Yeah, I suppose their version of Mark II is the Alpines. They're turbo as well. They're mental. They're so fast. They're fast. And then like you'd be on the road section going between the stages and come and see a 306 Maxi going the other way, and you're like a dog with your head out the window, like But the stuff of dreams. But they've some lovely front wheel drive cars as well there. It's a big push for front wheel drive out there. But it's cool to see now, and some lovely planned.
Excellent. So, that's you up to date. Midland coming up this weekend. You're down twice to do it. I see in the entry list. You're going to be busy.
Yeah. I finish one stage and run back to the start and jump in. Going with Daniel and looking forward to it. Hopefully, we should be sharp enough from last weekend. So, really looking forward to it, and we'll see how we go. It's going to be very, very competitive. There's a great entry there. Yeah,
it really is. Like it's like an international field, isn't it? The top line, the 4-wheel drive cars. Have you seen them in any other international rally? You'd be delighted with it. And then the modified entries, unreal.
Unreal. It's great to see, and rallying is in a very strong place. Long may it continue, I suppose.
Lorcan there, and wishing him all the best and the rest of his adventures this year. Certainly going to be a busy man. And Kevin, last weekend we had 5-Miletown Rally, and you were there. What was the event like?
A cracking day. The weather played. It was so kind as well too. It stayed dry, chilly, but dry, and that's always a bonus. But the action on the stages was fantastic. Going into the last stage, 0.1 of a second between first and second. Even third place was only less than 2 seconds back from that. It was a grandstand finish. Great to see. Was Mark Donnelly taking the second one after he's won in Killarney the previous weekend, himself and Stephen O'Hanlon, and then grabbing second on the very last stage then was Gareth Mimnagh, and then unfortunately Vivian Hamill dropped down to third. But it's not that Vivian done anything wrong, it was just it was just so close. And then the 2-wheel drive, Aidan Hillington was being the star of the show, but unfortunately a puncher on the penultimate stage. He dropped the minute. Mark McCormick and Barney Mitchell come through then and took the one. But the 2-wheel drives, BDAs and Forest, don't even get me started. There's nothing beats it. I've seen the Lada again in action, even better. No, great rally. have to big hats off to the organisers. Rally runs so well. Everybody we met, friendly faces, great crack, great banter. Much appreciated all the kind words and the amount of abuse we got about the podcast, but all very kind, and all good words. And the Donnelly brothers are legends. There's no doubt about it. the amount of people come over and said, how much they enjoyed listening to it. So thanks each and every one of you as well too. At the end, I managed to catch up with Mark Donnelly and Gareth Mimnagh just to get their reaction at the end of the event. Mark Donnelly, winner of 5Miletown 2023. I'll say you have to be very happy with that.
Oh, delighted. 2 in a row. Couldn't ask for much better.
Yeah. I think what a great start to the year for you. Killarney Forestry last weekend, 5Miletown this weekend. You didn't have it just quite as easy.
Didn't have it as easy today, definitely not. We should have probably made more off the first loop than we did with a spin in the stall on Jenkin. But look, this was all about tight racing at the very end, and thankfully we got the win.
Yeah, and the competition here today, Vivian, Niall McCullough, Gareth Mims, everybody, it was like a spin or a half spin even could have knocked you down to 50 as easy as first.
Yeah, no, there's very, very little in it, which just goes to show you, how fast the pace is at the minute. No, fair play to all the boys. There's any amount of lads that could have won today, so.
Yeah. And Adam give you a faultless car again today?
Yet again. Look, I'm delighted for Adam too. He obviously was like ourselves last year. Didn't have the best of years, so as much as good for us as good for Adam. So delighted for him.
And then where to next now?
Where to next? Malcolm Wilson.
Right.
So we'll go there. See how we go.
Right. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Gareth Mimnagh, second overall today in the 5Miletown. You have to be happy with your day's rally.
Hi, without a doubt. Hey, we came here just try and keep our nose clean and get a finish after last year. We had a tough year, to be honest. So we kept our nose clean over the first 4, and it was fairly tight after that, obviously, and stayed that way to the finish. So now going into the last one, it was tight between everybody. So thankfully we got the quickest time over it and got second in the end up. So well done to Mark and Stephen as well.
And that has to give you great confidence there, fastest in that last stage, and it was real balls to the walls for everybody. There was nothing in it between the top 3 or 4 there.
Without a doubt, but last year we were showing good pace, at times, just trying to put it all together. Bit of bad luck here and there and that, but no, we gathered ourselves well for the day and got a good finish, thank God.
Great to hear from the two boys there, and what is the start to the season Mark Donnelly has had. He's heading to Malcolm Wilson now, not this weekend but next weekend, so hopefully his good run of form continues. I also got the chance to catch up with Ryan MacHugh, junior Tarmac champion from last year, and he has a few exciting plans up his sleeve for this year, so without further ado, let's hear from Ryan. Now, Ryan, we thought we'd get you on. We've seen the launch of the new car there at the weekend, looking really well. Excited for the year ahead?
Yeah. Credit to Declan Boyle, DB Design, for the design on the car. Looking forward to the year now. Hopefully get things kicked off now, starting the National Championship this weekend. So looking forward to getting going. Yeah,
and you had such a fantastic year last year, at Junior Tarmac Championship. That was a great introduction to rallying for you. That's your first year full-time competing. It must have been a dream come true, really.
Yeah, it was, yeah. The last time I spoke to you, we were going to go to Cork, and hopefully it was after Donegal. So, yeah, it was nice to get over the line with it and get a nice trophy back, Frank Maher Memorial Cup. So, it was nice to get that as well. I was really looking forward now to getting going this year. New car and suppose.
Yeah, and going into a Fiesta Rally 4, that's quite a big step up from the Civic.
Yeah, well, we've actually tested the car up in Lahi for one day, about a couple hours, one last Saturday or the Saturday before. Yeah, looking forward to getting going now. It's a whole different style of driving, and you're also on the left-hand drive. So it's different, but there's a lot of potential there, definitely. So.
And does the left-hand drive thing, does that bother you? You're happy enough to jump in now at the early stage?
Well, I bought a road car about 6 months ago, so I'm driving that nearly 6 months now. So no, it hasn't really bothered me too much now anyway, as to start with. So But maybe ask me that question after Sunday. Hopefully, we'll know better.
Yeah, and like those wee Rally 4 Fiestas, they're a proper wee rally car, aren't they? They're professionally built. They are, what was used in the World Championship up until, what, 2 years ago now, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of potential in the car. Like, there's a lot more power and a lot better handling and just better all around sequential gearbox. It's just a better car all over than a Civic. So, look, it's definitely a big step forward, and hopefully now it works out for us and we get on good.
Yeah, and like what amazes me with them too, they have launch control too, and like that's just like the way they pop and bang just sitting on the line. It's like a tiny world car.
Yeah. Well, I actually tested that the last day. I only ever done one launch in it, so I must get up to scratch before the weekend.
Get the practice in.
Yeah.
We know how expensive rallying is as a sport. You're very lucky that you had some fantastic supporters last year. You've brought some of them with you, and new names in the car this year as well.
Yeah, a lot of the people actually on the car last year has came forward again and still joined us, but we've also acquired a lot of new sponsors, Kevin, for the year ahead. It's been a lot of effort put in from a lot of people over the winter trying to get me forward. Declan McBurdy there has been a big help to me, and Neil obviously, and Dad too has been a big help there over the winter. So everyone's just kind of pulled together and tried to get the whole thing together for me, and thankfully it's become a package. It was a big task now when we sat down after last year, just chatting about what car and what budget we need, and look, it was a big build to try and gather, but look, everyone's pulled together, and all the sponsors that came on board have been more than generous enough, and even the sponsors last year have been more than generous enough, and like everyone's kind of pulled together. And there on Sunday, most of the sponsors was there on Sunday, but a couple of the ones couldn't make it now. But I sent them on pictures and stuff. But no, it's great to have a lot of local support too.
That isn't that great that your local community is pulling in behind you there too. And I thought it was a lovely touch, on the Sunday in your local village, in the middle of everything, launching the car there. Like, it was too often now that kind of forgotten about. The car just rolls up at scrutiny or whatever. Doing a proper launch, gathering up your sponsors, letting them see the benefit. The car sitting there nice and shiny. People coming and going, oh, what's going on over here? Going over and looking to see that. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, it was actually. It's actually Glenn Campbell that Glenn and Claire, the sister, owns that coffee well there in Frosses. So we just decided to give them something back to launch the car there. So no, it's great. Like, there was a wild crowd there on Sunday, so I was actually wild thankful for it, because it gives the village a good lift too there.
Yeah, like even cars driving down through the village would see this and they'd be stopping to look to see what's going on. So like it helps everybody, like your sister and at the coffee place. It probably got a wee lift out of it as well too. So like it's a 1-1 for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So everyone was happy now. It was good.
Yeah, and like you talked about local support there. Like seen some of the names in the car, the Middle Park Glass, O&I Motors, Triller stuff. All and that's so. It's so important that the community is involved in this as well. It's not just known rally people; it's other people as well.
Yeah, exactly, Kevin. The local bar there, Bonnie Glen and Dermot Doherty, Prince Supplies too, came on board, and EDD, Kelly Group. There's Johnny Jordan. There's loads of sponsors, Declan McBurdy, Kit Triller stuff. Without all them, like I would have no championship next year. So. Or this year, so I have them to thank for it, and hopefully now we can get out and have another good year and have something to show for it at the end, and see what happens next year.
And the plan is this year to get yourself familiar with the car. The national championship is sort of where your intent starting out, anyway.
Yeah, that's the intentions anyway, Kevin. To start at the national. I was intending to do the tarmac, but I think we'll give it a miss this year and maybe try it next year. I'll see. Nothing's set in stone yet, so
Yeah.
I'll just try and get this year and get good experience in the car and get familiar with everything and take it from there. But our plan is to do the full national championship and Donegal as well.
Excellent,
So-
excellent. You know, we all know how vital seat time is in the car, and the great thing about a national championship is it's normally 3 stages done 3 times. So you can go out, try something, see if it works, try something different for the next loop, and see if there's an improvement as well. So it's wee things like that that will help you develop as a driver throughout this year.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely looking forward to it, and hopefully we can learn. This year's all about learning and just getting used to the car and getting used to left-hand drive, and just it's all right. You can test away, but it's different when you get into a closed road that you don't know. That's when the tales tell. So
Yeah, because I suppose like a test, you're so familiar with the road, you're just on auto mode almost kind of thing. You're not you're not in full stage mode as such.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're always preserving that wee bit.
Mhm.
Whenever you're battling with someone, the wee bit always has to come out.
That extra tenth.
Yeah, so no, it's good. Hey, the car's good. I acquired the car off Eamon Kelly. It's Eamon Kelly's old BRC car, so the car definitely has the potential anyway. So there's no
There's no hiding
getting away from that. So
yeah.
no, I can't thank Donna and Eamon enough for their support and their help too. After the car bought of them, we're actually going testing tomorrow again, and Eamon's coming along too. So, so no, it's great to have Eamon there. Like he's been a great help since we bought the car, as I said. And any wee thing that I think of that maybe he might know, I can ask him, or that's a massive help.
Yeah,
get-
he's what almost 2 years in that car now at this stage. So
Yeah.
the knowledge he's acquired and that there, like that's invaluable for the likes of yourself stepping into the car for the first time.
Yeah, well, hopefully now tomorrow, I might get a run with him and in the car as well. Him driving, maybe show me what he thinks, and then maybe I drive and see what he thinks, and at least we can have a chat about it and see what works.
Great to hear there from Ryan. Big shout out then to Gary McHugh, who finished third there in the rally out in Mallorca with Seb Perez at the weekend in the historic Porsche. Great run there with the two boys. Also, Darren Moore asked us if we give a wee shout out to is the Westmeath Hill Climb on the 12th of March. Looks like a fantastic event. There's still a few places there. I would say the entries are still open, so you look up Facebook page there, the Westmeath Hill Climb, as they on the 12th of March there. So that there is the end of episode 6. Please like, share, rate, comment, subscribe, all those things. Gratefully appreciate it. You've been doing it in huge numbers over the last few weeks, so once again, many thanks for all that. So until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.